several countries in Asia, Malaysia, Japan, South Korea. He avoided Vietnam just for old time's sake. But the big event was his sit-down with Xi. Just before their talk, Trump sent China a message. He announced that he's ordered the Pentagon to start testing nuclear weapons again. And that's right, if they won't give him the peace prize the regular way, he's going to take it by force.
Fundamentally, it's different because Donald Trump was much less successful in the first term in creating a climate of fear. This is what he's after. He wants to make the law firms afraid. He wants to make universities afraid. He wants to make immigrants afraid.
Donald Trump just endured one of those weeks when the universe seemed intent on humbling him for sport, with Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Schiff leading the charge. Kimmel unleashed his trademark jokes while Schiff served up sharp congressional shade. Together, they managed to break the internet, proving once again that when late-night comedy meets political drama, chaos and plenty of viral headlines are sure to follow.
Won't give him the peace prize the regular way, he's going to take it by force. Reporters on Air Force One asked him why he decided to do this and why he decided to do it right before he met with the Chinese, and his answer was basically, I did it because they did it.
Afraid. He wants to make citizens afraid. He wants to make news organizations, CBS and Paramount, afraid. He wants to make ABC afraid, and he is succeeding. He is succeeding. And more than any...
Donald Trump has weathered bankruptcies, indictments, and enough spray tan to threaten the ozone. But nothing prepared him for this week's hit. A savage mix of late-night sarcasm and Capitol Hill shade left his ego reeling, proving even the master of spectacle can't dodge a perfectly timed public roast.
Testing, I think it's appropriate that we do also.
Any details around the testing, sir? Like where, when?
It'll be announced. You know, we have test sites. It'll be announced.
Well, I have a feeling those test sites are like Jeffrey Epstein's house, where he's hiding the file. Tomorrow will mark a full month that our government's been shut down. Yesterday, we learned that insurance premiums for millions of Americans, their health care, are about to skyrocket.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and tap that bell. This week, Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Schiff didn't coordinate a thing, yet their moments collided like a cosmic roast. The outcome? A perfectly timed takedown that wrecked Trump's mood, his night, and probably whatever passed for breakfast the next morning.
Republicans in Congress afraid because he wants them to do his will. He wants the judges to be afraid they'll get impeached if they cross him, afraid for their own personal safety if they cross him. He wants to create a climate of fear. And he has done so in 6 months, which is radically different than the first term. In part, it's different because in the first term, there were at least some people.
It started innocently enough, or as innocent as things get when Trump's name trends. Jimmy Kimmel was busy roasting another celebrity scandal when, out of nowhere, Trump jumped back into the spotlight, reminding everyone he's still the self-appointed main character in America's never-ending saga of chaos and controversy.
That's supposed to review projects like this, preferably before they happen. It's called the Commission of Fine Arts. Their job is to oversee new federal architecture, or it was anyway. Trump fired all of them. They were supposed to advise the president on matters of design and aesthetics to preserve the dignity of the nation's capital, but this is Trump's idea of dignified aesthetics, so now Trump's planning to bring in a new group whose tastes align more.
Naturally, Kimmel couldn't resist. He threw a few perfectly aimed jabs that landed harder than a tax audit, and within minutes, Trump's name flooded the internet, begging for sympathy that never arrived. Meanwhile, in Washington, Adam Schiff, Trump's recurring political nightmare, was quietly delivering another masterclass in calm, calculated dismantling. Schiff didn't need to raise his voice, grab a microphone, or even have Trump in the room. With trademark composure, he reminded everyone why Trump's least favorite phrase might just be congressional oversight. Here's where the irony hits. Two men from completely different worlds, one armed with punchlines, the other with PowerPoints, unintentionally teamed up to unravel Trump's chaos. Kimmel's segment struck first, sharp and effortless, hidden beneath waves of laughter. Whenever Trump's name drops on his show, the audience collectively braces for impact, knowing something unforgettable is coming. Because with Kimmel, it's never just a joke. It's a spotlight on contradictions, wild claims, And the ongoing paradox of a man who insists he's both the most successful figure alive and the most persecuted soul in history. At this point, Trump has transcended politics. He's become performance art in perpetual motion, a spectacle no one can quite look away from.
It's going to be a disaster for our economy. It's going to be a disaster for hardworking families that are going to have to pay more for auto parts or getting their car fixed or, buying groceries or anything else. These other countries, many of whom are our closest allies, are going to retaliate against us. It's just simply going to escalate from here. I talked to farmers out in California who still haven't recovered the market share they lost during the first Trump administration from the ill-fated tariffs then. So
This time, the timing couldn't have been better. Kimmel's mockery hit the airwaves just as Adam Schiff made headlines with a move that sent Trump's team scrambling faster than his lawyers at 2 a.m. Schiff wasn't joking. He was making history. And that's exactly what irks Trump most. Nothing infuriates him more than someone who can dismantle his image without shouting, name-calling, or saying tremendous. Schiff's precision is surgical. He cuts with facts, not fury, and that drives Trump absolutely wild. The internet naturally devoured every second. Within hours, social media overflowed with memes, clips, and gleeful commentary declaring what Trump fears most: he'd been outplayed. For Trump, being roasted by a comedian is bad. Being outmaneuvered by a congressman is worse. But facing both in the same week? That's not just a bad news cycle, it's full-blown political trauma.
Trump thinks this is his house, which it is. When you stay at an Airbnb, you're not allowed to blow out a wall. He's not even a renter, he's a guest in the. He thinks he's OJ, he's actually Kato Kalin. I wonder if he's going to invite the winners of the World Series to this new ballroom of his. It was a tough night for the Dodgers last night. After they squeezed one out in 18 innings on Monday night, they had a 9-inning game, and the Blue Jays beat them. But the game, it may have been 9 innings. It felt long for Shohei Ohtani, who played all 18 innings Monday and then had to turn around and pitch in last night's game.
Kimmel's jokes weren't just about Trump. They targeted the absurd universe that orbits him. The rallies that feel like cult conventions, the press releases that read like fan fiction, the endless cries of victimhood shouted from a private jet, all part of the spectacle. Kimmel didn't need to exaggerate. He simply held up a mirror and let reality supply the punchline. That's the brilliance. Trump's life has become both the setup and the joke. Meanwhile, Schiff's takedown carried a different kind of artistry. No jokes, no grandstanding, just quiet, surgical precision. His calm, deliberate tone said everything. I don't need to yell to make you sweat. Each time he addresses Trump's behavior, it feels less like political debate and more like a patient teacher reading the report card of a student who's never learned restraint. Trump can't win that battle, not because he lacks intellect, though that's arguable, but because Schiff moves in a realm Trump will never reach. Self-control.
Or do we not get that because he doesn't like us?
We will get help. We will get help. But it is alarming that they're talking about, for the first time ever, trying to condition relief after a natural disaster on completely unrelated things. But we're pushing back hard. And in my conversations with my Republican colleagues, I'm reasonably optimistic that they will drop that idea. We just saw some storms hit other parts of the country, different colored states. We don't want to get into a practice where you discriminate on natural disasters, whether hitting red states.
The internet turned the whole episode into a digital bonfire. Clips of Kimmel's sharp roast spread like wildfire alongside footage of Schiff's surgical takedown, creating a timeline that felt almost cosmic, as if the universe itself had scheduled a Trump humiliation marathon. Fans of both men celebrated like it was the Super Bowl of sarcasm, while even casual observers tuned in to watch Trump trend for all the wrong reasons. It's remarkable how Trump's uneasy dance with both comedy and politics keeps evolving. Kimmel's humor sliced deep, but Schiff's words landed like a slow, deliberate clap from reality. A reminder that we've all seen this show before, and it never ends well for its star. Predictably, Trump couldn't let it slide. He did what he always does when cornered, ranted, deflected, and recast himself as the eternal victim. The irony couldn't be clearer. The man who built his image on being untouchable now spends his days claiming persecution by comedians and congressmen. It's like Superman devoting his life to tweeting about kryptonite. That's Trump's enduring paradox. He craves attention yet resents ridicule, demands loyalty but flees accountability, never realizing the chaos he fears most is always of his own making.
Watching our show over the past 2 nights, you know, I've been working on teeing up a major event. I think it could be bigger than the Super Bowl and Jake Paul fighting Dick Van Dyke combined. It could be very big. And all the credit goes to our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump, who strongly believes he would trounce 2 of his least favorite ladies in an IQ test.
They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have AOC's low IQ. You give her an IQ test, have her pass like the exam.
Trump wants to be adored, even by those laughing at him, not with him. When someone like Kimmel turns him into the punchline, it cuts deeper than any insult because that's the kind of rejection fame can't fix. Meanwhile, Adam Schiff embodies what Trump despises even more: consequences. Schiff doesn't mock to embarrass. He uses evidence to expose. He doesn't need to shout or sling insults. The quiet weight of truth does the work for him. Every calm explanation lands like a silent rebuke to Trump's entire strategy of chaos and distraction. By midweek, the story had taken over the internet. Trump had been roasted from 2 directions and couldn't find his footing. His supporters tried to spin it as another unfair attack, but the narrative was already set. You can only play the victim card so many times before it stops working, before it becomes your brand. When Kimmel's humor and Schiff's logic collide in the same news cycle, the result is a perfect storm of humiliation no rally or Truth Social rant can erase. It's almost poetic. The man who once ruled the media through outrage is now being outplayed by those using his own tactics against him. Schiff weaponizes composure. Kimmel weaponizes laughter. Together, they deliver a double blow so sharp it makes even Trump's loyalists question whether the magic's finally gone.
Trump for all the water for the spigot that he turned to send all that water down the state?
Thank you was not exactly the 2 words. One of the 2 was the same. So,
Are you ever, or at this point, are you surprised by anything?
I am surprised just how quickly they have created a climate.
The memes only made things worse. One rebranded Trump's week as keeping up with the indictments. Another paired Schiff's calm expression with Kimmel's grin, captioned, 2 different men. Same outcome, Trump yelling at his TV. You couldn't scroll for 2 minutes without seeing a new variation on the theme. Trump losing a battle he didn't even realize he was fighting. That's what makes it so funny. He keeps walking straight into it. Every time Kimmel cracks a joke, Trump takes the bait. Every time Schiff makes a statement, Trump amplifies it by reacting exactly as predicted. It's a loop of self-inflicted chaos, the kind that might be tragic if it weren't so absurdly entertaining. People often ask why Trump gets roasted so easily, and the answer is simple: he provides the material. No one is more dedicated to being the main character, even when the plot's a disaster. Kimmel doesn't need to invent punchlines, and Schiff doesn't need to exaggerate. They just hold up the mirror and let reality do the talking. By week's end, nothing had changed. Trump was fuming. Kimmel was smirking. Schiff stayed unbothered. And the internet feasted, producing a tidal wave of commentary equal parts hilarious and merciless.
AOC go against Trump. Let Jasmine go against Trump.
I agree. It sounds like a challenge, right? Now, as I've mentioned, not only do I want to see this contest happen, I want to make it happen. I believe this would be a once-in-a-lifetime television event. I want to give our brilliant, bigly-brained president a chance to teach those left-wing lightweights a thing or two about brain power live on national television. I'm calling it the James C. Kimmel Cognitive Aptitude and Mental Brilliance.
Late-night shows, podcasts, and even random TikToks jumped in, replaying the highlights of Trump's meltdown as if it had become a national pastime. For once, it wasn't about policy or politics. It was pure performance art. Deep down, Trump probably relished it. Not the ridicule itself, but the attention. For someone whose identity is built on being noticed, even negative attention beats silence. Yet there's a fine line between staying relevant and being ridiculous, and lately, he's been hurtling toward the latter with Olympic-level speed. Kimmel's laughter lingered long after the show ended, showing the power of contrast. Two men from entirely different worlds managed to highlight the same truth from opposite angles. Kimmel proved that satire can reveal hypocrisy more effectively than any lecture, while Schiff demonstrated that calm, measured logic can sting far harder than any insult. Together, their separate interventions reminded everyone of an uncomfortable reality. Trump's biggest enemy isn't the media, the Democrats, or even his critics. It's himself. Specifically, his relentless inability to stop fanning the flames of his own chaos, ensuring the show never ends and the spectacle never fades, no matter how many people are watching.
If you could simply declassify by thinking about it, then frankly, if that's his view, he's even more dangerous than we may have thought, because with that view, he could simply spout off on anything he read in a presidential daily brief or anything he was briefed on by the CIA director to a visiting Russian delegation or any other delegation, and simply say, well, I thought about it, and therefore, when the words came out of my mouth, they were declassified. No, people work hard to get that information. People put their lives at risk to get that information.
As the week drew to a close, life moved on for everyone except Trump. He likely spent another sleepless night wondering why people keep laughing at him. Maybe it's because after all these years, he still treats politics like a reality show that nobody takes seriously anymore. Maybe it's because every attempt to project strength is immediately twisted into irony by someone like Kimmel or Schiff, turning his bravado into the world's most quotable moments. Or maybe it's simply because America has grown so accustomed to the absurdity that laughing at it has become the only sane response. Whatever the reason, one thing is undeniable. It was a terrible week to be Trump, and a spectacular week for anyone with a sense of humor. Kimmel delivered the laughs, Schiff delivered the logic, and together they created a perfect sequence of events proving that karma doesn't need coordination, just impeccable timing. In Trump's world, timing is everything. A joke on late-night TV or a line in a congressional report always ends the same way: Trump raging, the internet roaring, and everyone else realizing that the man who once claimed he could handle anything simply cannot handle being laughed at. Poetic justice, served with a flawless punchline.